Morning, Madam Speaker.
Recording in progress.
Honorable Speaker, wanxiba ifelele nyamazana kwenze njani
Bali umlomo wena usile.
inkenxa ifuyile.
Bemi ungathethi into ongazaziyo apha. Honorable member,
Uphetha mkhuhlane somlomo.
yes, apologies, Mr. Klaso. Any apologies? Okay, honorable members, Mr. Klaso is still logging in, I guess. But I am aware that House Chairperson Buroto has an apology, and also the Deputy Speaker of Parliament also has an apology until further notice, honorable members. Are there any other? Are you in now, Mr. Klaso?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I am in now. My apologies for the late connection. Indeed, the issue of the Deputy Speaker, I hear that Madam Speaker has indicated, and Honorable Heron as well has apologized.
Thank you. Thank you very much, honorable members. When we look at the matters on the agenda, honorable member. So we have Mr. Standard agreed, honorable members.
Read.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Koso.
I wish to propose that the item that would,
Madam Speaker.
Yes. I'm sorry, Honorable Kwangwa. Mr. Castro, on the floor, I will give you an opportunity.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Castro. All right. Let me recognize you, Honorable Kwangwa.
Madam Speaker, my apologies. I have to leave the meeting at 9. I have another commitment or engagement after 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, I'm now connected. My sincere apologies. I was going to recommend, ma'am, that the item that would otherwise be under further business, questions to the President, that it be 7.1 on the agenda. In other words, when we get to the program, we do 7.1 as questions to the President and get feedback on that matter, that outstanding question. And then the program itself becomes 7.2 on the agenda.
Okay.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Singh.
I thought that would be a matter arising, but anyway, I have no problem if it's 7.1.
Okay, thank you very much.
I support that, Madam Speaker, that it be 7.1. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Kwangwa, will you please lower your hands now? So may we now look at the minutes, honorable members, of the 1st of September. Thank you very much. Honorable members, those were the minutes. Any correction of the minutes? Any amendments? Are they a true reflection of our discussions at the last meeting of the 1st of September? If they are, I see the hand of Honorable Papo. Honorable Papo?
Speaker, unless I'm incorrect, before we adopt the minutes, did we adopt the agenda?
I thought we did.
They just moved an amendment. They just moved an amendment.
Or did I adopt it? You may as well adopt it. Thank you very much, Honorable Papo. Honorable Papo, please.
Yes, there was a move for the amendment to the agenda. Then now I move for the adoption of the agenda before the minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Papo. Honorable members, that was it. Thank you for the correction, Honorable Papo. We are now dealing with the minutes of the meeting. Are there any issues contained in
adoption of the minutes, Madam Speaker?
more for the adoption of the minutes? Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. Any second, Honorable members?
Kwahube seconds.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kwahube, for seconding. So the minutes having been adopted, Honorable members, we then look into matters arising out of the minutes. Mr. Kaso, would you please take us through? I see the hand of Mr. Honorable Frolick. Is there any?
Yes. No. Good morning, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to the colleagues on the platform. Honorable Speaker, the matter that was raised in the last two programming committees by the Honorable Kalipi pertaining to COCTA has now been addressed. And the members must just
unlike announcing names and then people then say they are not available, and the other issue of the consultation with the Chief Justice. I think that that process is a better process.
Thank you very much, Honorable Papo, and thank you very much, honorable members, all of you, for your understanding. You may feel, for instance, that perhaps there's a bit of a delay, but it is better for all of us to rather delay right now rather than to say at the end, as you have said, appoint people and then people come back and say they're not available. Already responses have started coming and the deadline is on Friday. So hopefully by Monday, we will be announcing the panel of 3. Those who do not respond, then they don't respond, but we want people to indicate availability or not availability so that we know what else to do. Thank you very much, Honorable Papo, and thank you, honorable members, for your understanding of this process. We now proceed to the next matter under matters arising. Honorable Mr. Kaso, lower your hand, Mr. Honorable Papo, please.
No,
Yes.
just to indicate, ma'am, that the matter of the socio-economic study that had been raised previously, that matter is, the Chief Whips Forum is seized with that matter, and it will be dealt with there in that forum. Thank you.
No,
no speaker.
Yes, Honorable Mukalipi.
No, we dealt with that matter yesterday, but we have asked for the report to be sent to us yesterday. We couldn't receive it. If you can be updated in that regard. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me just clarify the matter even without giving it to Mr. Kaso, because Mr. Kaso had been given a clear mandate about how to respond to the issue. Mr. Frolic, Honorable Frolic, who is one of the presiding officers, would have been part of that meeting yesterday. The issue is, honorable members, right now, as you know, we have a new Secretary of Parliament. The new Secretary of Parliament has since received the report, the socio-economic impact study, and has been studying the report. Apparently, it's quite a thick report. And next week on Monday, the Secretary of Parliament will be briefing the executive authority on that report, because apparently this has not happened before. Then after that briefing, we are hoping that we will be able to take, the report will be taken to the Chief Whips Forum. This is just a matter of principle in terms of processes, that we don't just throw the report to members of Parliament, to the whippery, without even the executive authority having had sight or not even discussion of that report. So this report is going to be presented to us for purposes of proceeding to engage with the Chief Whips on the report. I see the hand of Honorable Shivambo.
Yeah, no, thanks, Speaker. That is not the understanding that was reached in the Chief Whips Forum yesterday. In the Chief Whips Forum, what we agreed was that the report must be circulated to all members of Parliament that want to gain access to it, and that the process of the Secretary of Parliament dealing with studying the report and everything else can go on, but we want to study the report as well. Like, we can do that ourselves, independent of what the Secretary of the Parliament is doing. Can we be given the report? What is the problem about this report? Why can't we get access to the report? Because we want to read it for ourselves and then make our own decisions in terms of how we understand what has happened. Mr. Frolic said yesterday that there's nothing wrong. We can actually avail the report. I don't understand why we're going back and forth and everything else. That is why we actually expressed yesterday's concern that, like, that meeting, the way it was considered was problematic because it looks like we're going in circles. Can we please get the report? so that we're able to make the necessary observations, and then that will inform how we deal with other issues. Let's please get the report. We had thought that by yesterday it would have been circulated. Can we at least get it today then, if we could, because we couldn't get it yesterday? We asked for it last week. We've written to you several times, but still we're not being given the report. Can we please get the report?
Thank you, Honorable Shivambu. Honorable Kalipi, followed by Honorable Zakude, and the last one will be Honorable Frolik on the matter.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. I don't understand this thing of hiding this report, Speaker. This is a public document, and I don't understand why we must wait for the Secretary to Parliament to tell us. We don't want to be fed by the Secretary of Parliament. We want to independently study the report as political parties. So can we be given the report? We also asked from the Chiefs Forum yesterday, and we agreed in the Chiefs Forum that we are going to get that report yesterday. And we have, as the Chief Whip of the EFF, the Deputy President is saying, we have been writing to you. It is more than 3 months asking for the same report, which is a public document, by the way. And I don't understand why now we have to wait until those processes that you are mentioning here is a public document that we ask for as members of Parliament. It was paid by Parliament. So can we be given the report, Speaker, before we even get a presentation according to you? Presentation is fine, but we want also to go through the report ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kalipi, Honorable Zakude, followed by Honorable Frolik.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good morning to you and my colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I think what you indicated to this meeting right now, you said the Secretary to Parliament was studying the report and he will present it to the presiding officers. So it's only fair that as POs, you receive that report, even though it's a public report, as my colleagues have already indicated, but it's only fair for the POs to familiarize with the report, then it be circulated, as you have already stated. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zakude, Honorable Frolik, followed by Honorable Chief Whip.
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker. No, yesterday, Speaker, I did refer to a report. The report I referred to was on a space utilization study that was done by Parliament in 2008-2009. That was subsequently presented to the Chief Whips Forum at the time, and those parties who were part of the Chief Whips Forum will obviously have it in their records, and Parliament also have it in its records. There's nothing wrong to once again make that report available. In terms of the socio-economic impact study, I've been informed after the meeting yesterday that in fact the key elements of that report of 2008-2009 is incorporated into this new socio-economic report that is there. So I just wanted to clarify the matter that the report of 2008-2009 was presented to the Chief Whips Forums, and I don't see any problem with that report being made available, but we must keep in mind it is incorporated into the new report as well.
Thank you very much, Honorable Frolik. Honorable Machotino.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you and to all my colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to prolong this matter. We resolved yesterday in the Chief Whips Forum that let the report be circulated. Let's just circulate, let Chief Whips Forum get a report. There's nothing secretive about the report. The report was once made public then, 2008, 2009. Let the report be circulated. Thank you.
Are we talking about the same report? Because Honorable Frolik mentions that there was a report, a study, another study which was commissioned, utilization of space, which was done in 2008 and 9. And I hear you, Honorable Chief Whip, making mention of that. And the issue raised by Honorable Shivambu is the socio-economic impact study, which it would seem was commissioned in 2018, 2019. Am I right? I don't know. Am I right about the dates, honorable members?
2008, 2009, that's a report. Now, Honorable Frolick is saying that report has been incorporated to another report. Incorporated or not incorporated, we resolved yesterday that we request a report as a Chief Whip's Forum. And to me, there's nothing sinister about that. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, we
honorable
resolved. We want a report, Speaker. No
Mangani,
tamperere now.
wait, there's no damtiriri, you're out of order now. Honestly.
Damtiriri is unparliamentary.
Honorable members, we met as the executive authority together with the Secretary of Parliament, and we agreed on a proper process. In the first instance, that report was commissioned by the executive authority. And to date, the executive authority has not been briefed about the contents of that report and the subsequent recommendations coming out of that report. And that is the only reason. Not that there's anything to hide. I'm noting what you are raising, honorable members, but we were simply establishing processes, principles that once the executive authority has commissioned something, then that report, it is only proper that it be given to them, it be presented, so that even as we give you the copies of the report and take you through the report, all of us, but at least we must be familiar with what has come out of the report. So there's nothing, honorable members, about hiding the report. It simply has to do with principle of following processes, because one of the biggest challenges we have in Parliament is that of processes. Nothing is sinister here is being done by the Secretary of Parliament or even the executive authority, honorable members. Please allow me, honorable members, to make the point that I've noted this matter. I've noted the matter. I've noted the matter, honorable members, and I won't allow honorable members for now for a discussion on this matter, because we've talked to the matter, and I'm saying I've noted the comment. Who is this who's talking, honorable member? Somebody, and your network is not good, so you're not coming across well.
It's your speaker, speaker. It's your speaker.
It's not my speaker.
I think there are mics that are unmuted, Honorable Speaker. The mic of Honorable Shivambu was unmuted, and yes, I think now it's muted. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mr. Castle. Now, honorable members, please allow me to close the matter, because we are not refusing to give you a report. I am saying, no, man, don't punch in. Honorable Shivambu, please.
No, but
your hand is up. I am still talking. Your hand is up. And I've never not recognized members in a programming committee. I've recognized you, and I will recognize you. Your hand is up. It's not only your hand. Honorable Mkalipi's hand is up. Honorable Papo's hand is up. All three hands are up. And I will recognize you. I do refuse members from, if people are going to just barge in without being recognized, it's not correct, honorable members, please. I will recognize you. And I am now recognizing you, Honorable Shivambu. Honorable Shivambu, you have the floor.
No, Speaker, I think as a matter of principle, we need to honestly respect each other here in this process of Parliament, right? Yesterday, we were very clear as to which reports we're talking about, and it is dishonest of Honorable Frolick to
Honorable Shivambu, you are muted.
Are you there, Honorable Shivambu?
Yes, he's muted, ma'am.
Honorable Shivambu?
Yes. No,
okay.
Speaker,
yes.
It's honestly not proper that we treat each other in these processes of Parliament with disrespect and some degree of dishonesty, because we have written to you clearly in terms of the report that we're looking for, that it is the Pamoja Capital Group report, which was, like, of course, mandated by Parliament and then was the study was done by the Pomoja Group in 2018. And Honorable Frodlik is aware of that. You can't now want to zigzag and say, no, we're talking about the 2008, 2009 report. When we took a resolution yesterday, we're talking about all reports that relate to issue of the socio-economic study on the relocation of parliament and what needs to happen around that. I honestly don't understand this zigzagging around this issue. That is why yesterday we took serious offense, or maybe there were justifiable reasons, that you kept on saying, Speaker, that you are going to meet physically with chief whips and everything else there, and then you didn't come to the meeting. You were represented. Those who represented you made a commitment that the report is going to be circulated. It is not circulated now. Now we're going back. We must still justify again and debate the same issue about a report which we agreed yesterday must be circulated. What is the problem about this report? Can we please be given the report?
Thank you, Honorable Shivambo. Thank you. I have noted your comments, honorable members. I wasn't aware of the decision that the report be circulated, that the decision of yesterday's meetings, but I have been briefed about the discussion of yesterday's meeting. I'm now taking note of that, honorable members. Honorable Papo, Honorable Mkalipi, followed by Honorable Papo, I'm sorry.
Yes, Speaker. No, thanks very much. That is problematic because yesterday we were supposed to meet with you. We got a message that you were sick, but those that you sent to represent you were supposed to brief you about the decisions about this report. Speaker, we need this report. Remember, as EFF, there is a bill that we are processing, and it's going to be part and parcel of our processes of this bill. Secondly, we wrote to you, Speaker, in January. This is September, asking about the same report. So it's very unfair. Thirdly, this report belongs to the public. And I think this treatment of members of parliament to be treated as secondary, I don't understand it, Speaker. Because even yesterday, when we get an update in terms of how far with the rebuilding of parliament, which will cost millions and millions, we're not given the report as members of parliament. We're told that, no, we are still in discussion. We don't have to invite unnecessary media attention. We are members of parliament. We're supposed to have an access to these documents. But this one that was commissioned in 2018, parliament paid for it. And it remains as a public document. I don't understand why now we have to wait to be briefed about this document. We are not kids. We want to study this document ourselves. As I mentioned that we have a bill that we are processing as EFF of taking parliament to Tswane. So can we resolve, Speaker? This is not the first time we are raising this issue about this document, about this commission report. Even last week, you said this report will be available. We even yesterday when we received that presentation, you said it's useless to discuss this presentation of the rebuilding of parliament without having that report in front of us. So Speaker, can you just take a decision to send that report once again? Don't understand why must we wait until be briefed by the Secretary of Parliament. What is that is hidden in that? If there's nothing hidden, send the report to members of Parliament. You are members of Parliament representing the public here, and it remains the public document anyway, and it was paid by Parliament anyway. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Khalipi. Honorable Papo.
Speaker, I would add that you consider the recommendation, because Chief Whips Forum obviously makes recommendations to yourself that report be circulated. Well, and it can only come back once the EO has actually looked at it back to the Chief Whips Forum. So it won't come back for engagement. But I think please consider that recommendation quite seriously. The issue of a bill has nothing to do with the Chief Whips Forum. It's an EFF matter. So it should, EFF is raising it. So the Chief Whips Forum has not taken a decision to link that report to a bill. But
no, order, Speaker. Order.
My appeal.
Order.
My appeal. I think Member Mkalipi cannot just barge in.
No, I'm raising a point of order here.
Honorable Mkalipi,
and he cannot just shout at me. He cannot do that.
All right. Honorable Mkalipi, what is the point of order?
No, but we can't be told by Papo how to speak here, Speaker. I'm just
but
putting in a
that is
context
not
why we need a report.
No,
So you
Honorable
can't just tell us
Mkhalipi.
that we can't receive a report.
Honorable Mkhalipi, that
I
is
am not saying there's no, the report must be received, but I'm
Honorable
adding.
Papo, I am still ruling. I am ruling. Honorable Mkhalipi says point of order, and she's not raising a point of order, and I'm talking to that. So I'm talking to that. Honorable Mkhalipi, what you have raised is unhappiness with the manner in which Honorable Papo is expressing himself on the matter. Nothing to do with a point of order, please. So let's not have this unnecessary towing and throwing and exchange in a meeting of the programming committee. Honorable members, the programming committee is a meeting of the most senior members of political parties. You represent your parties here. So I please beg all of you, please, I beg you, let's not conduct ourselves in this manner. Please, honorable member. It can't be that in the chamber, this is what we do, and here in a programming committee, the same. You may now proceed, Honorable Papo. And you don't
By
have
the way,
to respond to what
I am
Honorable
asking that the report be circulated. I was just indicating the another issue. I'm not saying the report should not be indicated. So budging in doesn't help. The report should be circulated. It's a recommendation of the Chief Whip Forum.
Honorable Papo, can you please just make your point?
My
Don't
point is that please
yes.
consider seriously the recommendation. It's a recommendation of the Chief Whip
Thank you
Forum
very
yesterday that it be circulated. That's the issue I'm actually saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Honorable members, I've noted the recommendation which all of you have made. It seems the Whip Party agreed yesterday that the report should be circulated, and I have noted that, and I will deal with the matter out of the meeting, outside of this meeting. Thank you very much. Honorable members, may we now proceed to deal with the next item on the agenda, or have we finished all the matters arising out of the minutes of last week's meeting?
From my side, ma'am, we have finished it. We may now proceed to item number 5.
Thank you very much. We proceed then to item number 5, which is from Advocate Tau. Would you please take the floor and present a report from the committee section?
Good morning, Madam Speaker, honorable members and colleagues. Our report starts at slide number 6. On this slide, the PC on environment, forestry and fisheries is currently planning to go to Gauteng on public hearings about National Veld and Forest Fire Amendment Bill. The committee was in Limpopo. The next slide is slide number 8. On this slide, the PC on agriculture, land reform and rural development has advertised for public submissions on agriculture product standards amendment bill. The public is given until the 30th of September, my apology. And the PC on public service and administration will be considering a motion of desirability on the 21st of September on public administration laws general amendment bill. The next update is on slide number 14. On this slide, the subcommittee on PC on communication has developed a program to fill vacancies in SABC board. The program is indicated on this slide.
updates on slide 2, 4, and 5. On slide 2, we report that 7 bills are on the NA order paper after the 2 trade bills and the Children's Amendment Bill were transmitted to the NCOP for concurrence. And the second point is the Financial Matters Amendment Bill was introduced on Monday as B20 of 2022, a proposed Section 75 bill. The bill was referred to the Standing Committee on Finance for further processing. Then the total number of bills, Honorable Speaker, that are before NA committees is now 40. And on slide number 4, we've got the Municipal Fiscal Powers and Functions Amendment Bill, which has been certified and is being processed for introduction. On the next slide, slide number 5, we report that Parliament passed the Criminal Law Forensic Procedures Amendment Bill, and the Act is to be sent to the President for assent. The second language of this Act, or the official translation of the Act, is Afrikaans. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That's all from us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mbata. Honorable members, that was the report from the Bill's office. Are there any matters you'd like to raise related to the report? Thank you very much. It seems there are none. Honorable members, then we proceed to deal with, that was item number 6. We will now deal with item number 7.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it will now be item number 7.1 as it had been agreed earlier. Thank you,
yes. Thank you very much. Honorable members, 7.1 we recorded in the beginning. I did mention that on the matter related to questions to the President, that I will follow up on the matter. I made 2 commitments at the last meeting, honorable members, and I've done both. The first one being to write a letter to the President to establish availability, and the second one being to confer with the leader of government business and the chief whip with regards to this particular issue. Now, the President has since written back and has indicated that the earliest opportunity he can attend to the outstanding question is the 29th of September 2022, which is this day which anyway was allocated for questions to the President. And then accordingly then, the President will deal with the supplementary questions of number 11 by Honorable Zungula, which of course was the 5th question of the day. That will be in addition to the questions which will be on the order paper for the day. Now, according to this, a motion will be processed by the House to give effect to this arrangement at the earliest opportunity, honorable members. And I've directed Mr. Kaso, I've also spoken to the Chief Whip, that this motion be dealt with as early as possible so that there's definite commitment by Parliament to this process. Honorable members, that is the report on the 2 commitments I made. One, that the President is available on the 29th as the request, and that he indicates to us when he'll be available. I've written that letter. The second one is conferring with the Chief Whip and the leader of government. I see no hands on the system, honorable member, or I see one hand, honorable Shibambo.
No, Speaker, I honestly think that the report that you have given now and what has transpired since last week is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable that we're now being dictated to by a president who is supposed to account to Parliament about things which are bordering on him committing crime and violating the laws of this country. It's unacceptable. Like, he does as he wishes and everything else. He comes to Parliament and says that he has been advised not to respond to certain questions, and then we agree in principle in that question session that he must be called back as a matter of urgency to respond to issues which he himself said that these issues are matters of national interest. And then when we then want to convene him for that meeting, he just says, no, I'm not available. I'm just going to come on already what has been scheduled, because there's nothing extraordinary about what you have just given us now, because that date was already there. Where is the autonomy, the relative autonomy of this House of Parliament when a president can just do as he wishes? I honestly think this is unacceptable. And we can't be party as members of Parliament to the undermining of institutions of democracy. Because as a matter of fact, it is not only this institution which Mr. Ramaphosa is ignoring and undermining. He has undermined the South African Reserve Bank. He has undermined the Financial Intelligence Center. He has undermined the Office of the Public Protector on several occasions. He had to be pushed to respond to obvious, clear questions as to what has happened in Palapat. Why are we running around circles when we have to be given clear answers now?
Thank you very much.
I think we're being party to nonsense, and we must not accept this rubbish that has been reported here, that Mr. Ramaphosa cannot come and account. He must be called to account as a matter of urgency. I propose, Speaker, that we must reject that. We must schedule a day closer so that he must come to respond specifically to that question. And that date must be before the 29th of September. That is a concrete proposal that we're making. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shibambu. Honorable Papo.
Thank you, Speaker, for the report. I think the views expressed by Mr. Shibambu should be noted. I don't accept his view, his tone, everything. The report should be the decision of the NAPC. The deadlock breaking mechanism came with a decision, because that's how a decision was made, that we go for the 29th. So my motivation is that should be the decision of the NAPC based on the decision of the deadlock breaking mechanism, and that the president comes on the 29th. Other views which don't agree must just be noted.
Thank you very much, Honorable Papo. Honorable Mkalipi, Honorable Lisuma, and the last one will be Honorable Machutina. Okay, Honorable Lisuma.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and colleagues. Thank you very much. I've been perfectly covered by Honorable Papo, because how do you say that the president must leave everything and come, but having had other prior commitments? But I think the reasons and the avenues that we have explored, Honorable Speaker, surface very well, and the rest is just for noting. But I think I totally agree with Papo. Thank you very much. But I think, Honorable Speaker, we must also register that while we can't prescribe the choice of words that we use, but also we must treat each other when we communicate with due respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lisuma. Honorable Mkalipi, followed by Honorable Kwahobe, and then the last one will be the Honorable Chifu Machodini.
Speaker, I think I agree with the Deputy President of EFFT. No, we are taken for a ride here in this Parliament. And Speaker, if you want to render this Parliament useless, we must continue to do that under your guidance. Because we can't allow the President to dictate to Parliament when he must come to account to Parliament. So there is no intervention, Moss, from your office. If he's also suggesting the very same date that he's supposed to come to Parliament, so it means that the president is dictating to Parliament when he must come and account to Parliament. So we must reject that proposal and that report from yourself. And then we must be clearly mandate you to go back to President and to tell him that we are rejecting that date, because anyway, on that date is coming again to account to Parliament. But specifically for this one, he must schedule an earliest date, because that question remain unanswered. So that is the clear mandate that you are giving to Speaker, and it is your choice, Gay. If you want to continue to render this Parliament useless, you must continue, but we are cautioning you to say that don't allow the president to dictate to you. Even last week, I raised a point to say the president is also represented here by the councillor. What is the role of this councillor here who is representing the president? Because the basic one is to check the diary of the president. So why is he here in this meeting if he can't even go back to president and say to president, Parliament needs you. You need to come and account, because you didn't answer the question that was very much needed to be answered. So there's no role for this councillor here as well, Speaker. You remember last week, he was even telling us that he was defending, in fact, telling us that the president have answered while the president didn't answer. So he must just also start doing his work of making sure that the diary of the president prioritize Parliament, because that's where he's accountable to. So, Speaker, we are rejecting that report. So even last week, if you remember very well, Speaker, it was also the position of the ANC who was defending the president. We can't be part of that. We can't be part of the person who does not want to account here. Our responsibility as Parliament is to ensure that the executive and the ministers are accountable to Parliament. So you must also ensure that the institution remains as such, Speaker. So please go back to the president and tell the president that we are rejecting that proposal of his. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Kalipi. Honorable Wahube, followed by Honorable Martina.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and thank you for the feedback. It is obviously rather disappointing that the president is now only going to be lumping the additional question that he needs to answer that he didn't answer in the first session, alongside with his already scheduled oral question session in the House. But my question really is around the motion that needs to come to the House. Can I get some clarity as to when we're intending on doing that, and will that be in the name of the Chief Whip of the Majority Party? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kwahube. The next one speaker was Honorable Machotina.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Rule 210, subsection 2, on the deadlock breaking mechanism. It says that the Speaker, in consultation with the Chief Whip of the Majority and the Leader of Government Business, must take up the matter and resolve it. And that decision must be communicated with all parties. What you are doing here was to communicate that particular decision. That is read with Rule 44. This is part of our rules, because there are certain times where we're not going to agree on particular matters. However, there is no one, I want to dispute that the ANC is defending the president not to come and account. The ANC's submission in the previous meeting was that because there is already a date that is scheduled for questions, it will be proper. However, it did not stop you engaging with the office of the president, and you have done so. We fully support this report as you have tabled it, and that the president will respond to outstanding questions on the 29th. We cannot just work at willy-nilly, that when one member says, I'm not available because of other schedules. We schedule questions, we schedule every program in NA and in the NCOP, and therefore there's nothing wrong that you have done, and you are supposed to come and report back, as you said that you'll be doing consultation, and you have done that. We accept the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Machotina, you may as well proceed to talk to the motion itself. There's a question whether the motion will be in the name of the Chief Whip. Will you please respond to that? Okay. Mr. Kaso. Mr. Kaso.
Ma'am, yes, the motion would be in the name of the Chief Whip of the majority party. The motion would obviously take care of what has been discussed, but also the motion would take care, because the president is supposed to answer 6 questions. It will now be, in a sense, supplementary, so effectively 7 questions. So it would also take care of the timing issue. As you members will recall, the rules say 3 hours. So the likelihood is that will go beyond 3 hours. So the motion will take care of all those technicalities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. All right. I now have the hand of Honorable Swat and Honorable Singh.
No, thank you. Thank you, Speaker, and morning to the colleagues. I think it's important also for us to just also note that it's regrettable that an earlier date was not scheduled to answer the unanswered question, as we in the opposition parties expected an earlier date, given the national interest in this matter, and of course the issue relating to accountability. And had the president answered the earlier question, we would not have faced with this dilemma. And maybe one needs to relook at the deadlock breaking mechanism and the rules in that regard. However, I do also want to ask when the particular wording of that motion will be made available, given the fact that there is a stark difference between the opposition and the majority party as to whether the question was answered, as to whether the president will answer the question, which is the opposition position, or whether he's only going to respond to the supplementary questions. I think that wording of that motion needs to be circulated as quickly as possible to all parties. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swat. Honorable Singh.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me also say it's disappointing that we could not get an earlier date, but I do not believe it's not for want of trying. And if that's the only date the president could give us, I mean, that's it. But it's rather unfortunate that he could not find 1 hour in his time from now till the 29th to attend to this very, very urgent business. I'd just like to know also in terms of the 29th, will the questions come before the 6 questions that are scheduled or after? And secondly, just to follow on Honorable Swat, if I've got the unrevised Hansard, and I would suggest, Honorable Speaker, you and the team read the unrevised Hansard and look at what the president said, because the issue of whether he needs to answer the question is a moot point here. Because I don't believe that he answered the question. It's quite clear in the unrevised Hansard that he said, he will not answer the question for whatever reasons he gave. So if we can get clarity on those issues at the next meeting, it will be helpful, I think. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. Honorable Shivambu, you're coming back on is it the same, is it the old hand, or are you coming back on the same?
Yeah, I'm coming back. Speaker, in terms of accountability to Parliament, it is not a question of the president choosing when and how he must respond and answer to questions in Parliament. It is a constitutional obligation, and Parliament has got all the mechanisms and powers to could even subpoena the president to respond to certain questions. All these other engagements which he says he has can be shelved for this particular purpose. That is what the separation of powers is all about. And if the method we take now is that he will only come as and when he is available, then that is extremely problematic. It's inconsistent with what the Constitution is all about separation of powers. He must come to respond to questions. It's not sustainable, the manner in which we're handling this issue of saying, no, a president can only come as and when he wishes. It's not true that there can't be just 1 hour or whatever time allocation that is given between now and the 29th, where he can come 20 days. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. I mean, he has been doing a lot of unnecessary things and everything else. They all over and all of those things. They like, he must come to account to Parliament. I honestly don't think that we're being honest in the manner in which we're handling these issues. We are just trying to protect yourselves, not we. You as the ANC are irrationally trying to protect a president. You realize that he doesn't have honest answers that must be given, and he thinks that for some reason, if he plays around and delays all these questions and everything else, there's going to be something else that will happen. We have got the powers as Parliament. The rules permit Parliament to could even subpoena the president to come and respond to these questions. I think let us invoke that particular permissibility to summon the president to come to respond to the question, because it's a matter of urgency. All of us have said that it's an issue that must be responded to as a matter of urgency. So let's deal with it in that particular way instead of delaying it in any further. Let us not degenerate to a level where we are ganging up, or Parliament is ganging up to protect the president irrationally. He must be convened to respond to questions as soon as possible, and it must not be on the 29th. There's enough days. There's 20 days between now and then. Let us get a closer date so that we're able to get the answers as to just what happened in Palapala, so that there's clarity moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shivambu. Honorable Papo, you will now be the last person on the matter before we close it.
Speaker, I've made my proposal that whatever views which are presented are not the views of this, cannot be the views of the NAPC. They are views of individual political parties. Parliament is run not on the basis, is run on the basis of majority views and rules. The rule said that there's a deadlock breaking mechanism. You have made a decision based on that rule. Political parties are expressing their opinions on that decision. They must be noted. There's no ganging up. Imagine if we say the views expressed by the opposition parties here are ganging up against the majority party. It's not that glad. They're expressing their views. The president is going to come on the 29th. The objections must be noted, and that decision is accepted. Parliament is run also on the basis of a majority. Majority cannot be criminalized. We have a majority system here. If the majority doesn't agree with the minority views, that's how democracy works. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Papo. Honorable members, I've noted all the inputs made by all members who spoke on this matter here, in this programming committee meeting. The motion will be prepared and the Chief Whip will give guidance on its processing, honorable members. And next week, I'm sure, in the programming, when the parliamentary program is presented, I'm sure this should appear. How soon, whether it will be next week or what, is a matter that will be attended to. But I'm sure by the time we meet on Thursday, we will all be familiar with everything that's being discussed with regards to its processing. Am I understood, honorable members, honorable Chief Whip? Am I correct?
Yes, noted, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable member. Honorable Shivambo, I did say that I think I've given you 2-3 slots on the matter, and then at the end, Honorable Papo also spoke, and I did say that I am now recognizing Honorable Papo as the last speaker on the matter. Otherwise, we'll just continue and continue. Please allow me to say I've noted the inputs of all the participants in this meeting, and that the motion will be prepared. Honorable members?
I've raised my hand, Speaker.
You're just pointing to your hand, Honorable Shivambo. I thought you understood me.
No, now, Speaker, like
yes.
You know, it is incorrect to just reduce the Parliament decision-making processes and mechanisms.
Honorable Shivambo, with
yes,
with all due respect, I've given you an opportunity to express your views thrice or 4 times on the matter. You've expressed your views, and I called on the last speaker to close the matter. And I'm closing it now here by saying I've noted your views expressed here at this meeting, and that please shall we now proceed to allow for the Chief Whip to prepare a motion and will then provide guidance on the matter. Thank you very much. I don't think we should have a lengthy...
I'm not done with what you have not even listened to what I've got to say.
I did not recognize you.
Please recognize me.
Honorable Shivambo, I did not recognize.
Can you please recognize me?
I did not give you the floor to speak. Please. In fact, I did. No. Please stop this. Honestly, this barging in when a person speaks. Honorable Shivambo, this is a meeting of the programming committee, and I'm chairing this meeting of the programming committee. And I've given all those who would like to express their views, who had their hands up, an opportunity. And I have given you an opportunity to speak thrice or 4 times on the same matter. And I said, I am now closing the matter. And I've closed the matter. You can't challenge me.
I've got every right to speak in this meeting.
You have every right to speak, Honorable Shivambo, when you have been given.
Speaker, point of order. Point of order.
It is false to suggest that you gave me
point of order, Speaker.
Yes,
on this, and I want to make an intervention.
Wait,
you have made a ruling in the
man.
meeting. You have made a ruling, and Mr. Shivambo is defying your ruling. That's what he's doing now.
When Papo, just wait, man. Just wait. Shivambo is asking the floor from the speaker. Are you suggesting that the speaker does not have a capacity to handle the meeting, Papo? That's why you got 24 votes in your conference. Wait, man.
Actually, honorable members.
Member Speaker, Member Mkhalipi just made a false statement to the NAPC
no, just wait,
about the outcome of our conference. That is a false statement.
That's why you lose conference with 24 votes. Leave the speaker to handle this matter. Otherwise, we are going to come in as well.
That's a false statement, Speaker. What Member Mkhalipi is saying.
And Honorable Mkhalipi, please don't
never intimidate me. Never.
Please don't. Honorable Papo. Honorable members, we are not children here. You are mature adults here in this meeting. And I'm not going to allow you to conduct yourselves. Like if honorable members feel that there's injustice in the meeting when I've allowed all of you to speak on the matter and you want to come in 4 or 5 times, then honorable members, that's it. I've summarized and closed the matter. And I've said I've noted and that I am now providing guidance that the Chief Whip should deal with this motion as quickly as possible, should prepare it and provide guidance on its processing, honorable members. And I'm not going to allow another discussion on the same matter over and over again. Otherwise, I may as well allow everybody to speak. I'm sure Honorable Singh would want to express himself once more. Honorable Swat, Honorable Bisuma, all the people who have spoken on the matter, all the members, I'm sure would want to express to take another round. But actually, Honorable Shivambo, be fair. I've allowed you probably 4 times to speak on the same issue, honorable member. Please, I've closed this. I've closed the matter. I have closed the matter. I'm not allowing you to speak.
Speaker, the problem is that you don't want even to hear what he is raising. We are just preempting what is he going to say, Speaker. Just relax. Allow him.
Honorable Mkhalipi, both of you, we are off the system now.
Why?
Whoever is hosting, is managing this gadget, will you please remove Honorable Shibambo?
But we are reacting now. We are reacting instead of allowing the members to express themselves.
Honorable Mkalipi, you are out of the system.
What are you doing now?
Out of the system. Mbanga,
Now,
are you doing this or not?
that disparate knows view.
No Siviwe. I know my name. For now, I am presiding, and I'm the presiding officer here. And with just a bit of respect, you may as well say Honorable Speaker for now. And then outside, you can call me Nosibu. Honorable members, Mbanga, I said remove the honorable members. Thank you very much.
Member Shibambo is just called your first name, Speaker. Can that issue be attended to? Is the issue of disrespect, insults in meetings, making false statements about fellow members? Can I request formally that issue of Mr. Shibambo violating the rules of the National Assembly, calling you with your first name, which is a violation of the rule, defying your ruling, because rulings cannot be open for debate. And this is the problem we have in meetings. Can that issue be looked at and investigated? Because we cannot sit in meetings and be insulted by EFF MPs.
Thank you very much, Honorable Papo. Honorable members, at the next meeting next week, we will rule on the matter, particularly because Honorable Shibambo is not on the system right now. I said she should be removed from the system. Honorable members, I think it's important that we tried as much as possible, firstly, to exercise restraint when we communicate with one another, but secondly, mutual respect. I think what Honorable Shibambo has just done was a demonstration of utter disrespect. And of course, at the next meeting, I will put this matter on the table and provide a ruling on it. We can't continue like this, honorable members. We cannot. This thing of when a person, people are impatient, people can't even wait for others to finish speaking before they come in and contest what they are saying or challenge what they are saying. It cannot be right, honorable members. It cannot be right. So this matter, definitely, there'll be a ruling on the matter. Honorable Papo, you are raising your hand again. Is it on the same matter now?
There's also an issue which was said in public about so-called 24 votes. It's an untruth, and I've written to you formally, I've raised it in a letter. The members who have raised this issue, starting with member Malema, who have raised it in the sitting last week, Tuesday. They must produce proof. They are raising it in public, Speaker. That's why I'm responding in public.
It's not a matter for the programming committee. I will rule. I did say last at the session that remember, honorable member, that this happened at a time when there was a lot of what do I call it? Heckling and what, and we were dealing with a sensitive issue of the supplementary, the question to the president. So, and I did make an undertaking that I will come back and attend to the matter. So at the next session on Honorable Papo, that matter will be attended to and I will rule on it. So I would rather not have it here as an item for a discussion. Please, Mr. Kaso, I see you have your mic on.
No, ma'am, you have dealt with the matter. I would have indicated that this matter will be dealt with in the House because it has been raised in the House already by Honorable Papo. So Madam Speaker has dealt with the matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. May I now hand over to invite Honorable Lisum to consider the draft parliamentary program.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you once more and good morning. Honorable Speaker, the program hasn't changed, but there are changes, slight changes that we have made and will indicate as we move. I'm saying that because it was presented before the Chief Whips Forum yesterday. There's only one slight change that I will talk to, which would be different from what was presented in the Chief Whips Forum. Secondly, Chair, we must say that we are aware that you would have received a letter from Treasury in terms of the MPBS that will be tabled in the National Assembly on the 26th of October. So as we move along and you indicate as such and confirm that we will populate as such. Thirdly, Chair, so that it doesn't get raised after we presented the draft program, is the ethics report that we would like to strongly discourage the declarations on the matter. The reason is that, firstly, is that the matter at an ethics committee is discussed in committee in terms of its modalities and the details thereof, but also it's only a good self that can reprimand the members, and then it cannot be correct that members then make declarations where they reprimand each other as it were. That's the rationale on that strong recommendation, which previously it was accepted, Honourable Speaker. Then I will talk to the program. In terms of the international diary calendar and external bodies that the Parliament, the NA is represented, is that during the month, which is the last month, and this month is the 14th Summit of Women Speakers, which is held in Indonesia. And then the second one, which is the last one in terms of international calendar, is the 6th World Speakers Conference, which is held during the month of this month, which is September until October in Indonesia. Those are the two diary days that we on international fora that we are represented. We are now, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, in week 23. Allow me, Honourable Speaker, to talk only to the plenary sittings, which today is the 7th of September. We're going to have a mini plenary. Today it's a mini plenary, which you'll recall that the member statements were rescheduled from Tuesday to this week to allow the ministers to be present so that they can be able to respond to those member statements. It will be a hybrid sitting that will sit on 14 hours, starting with the member statements, followed by a debate of national importance, the debate on urgent matters of national importance, sponsored by the Chief Whip of the Majority Party under the persistent illegal mining activities and concurrent crimes, which will take around about 95 minutes. Thereafter will be followed by the consideration of the report of the Communication Portfolio Committee on recommendation of filling of vacancies of Media Development and Diversity Agency, which is known MDDA. Thereafter, it will be followed by the consideration of the Traditional Courts Bill, followed by the consideration of the request for approval of the revised African Regional Cooperative Agreement for Research, Development and Training related to Nuclear Science and Technology Agreement, followed by the consideration, which is the 6th scheduled item, consideration of the request for approval by Parliament, by NA, of the International Convention on the Civil Liability for Bunkers, Oil Pollution Damage 2001. 7th one will be the oversight report by the Public Accounts Stand Committee, visit to the South African Post Office in Johannesburg, and as well as in Pretoria. The last item on the order of the day today will be the report from Public Accounts Committee on their oversight visit to ESCOM and its infrastructure project of Madubi and Kusile, which was held in April this year. Then that will bring us to the end of the week, because Friday is the normal day of committee days. Then we are going to be week 24. Week 24 will start on the 12th of September, but we'll focus on the plenary sittings, which is on the 13th of September, which is a hybrid sitting as well. Member statements, followed by the consideration of the candidate nominated for the appointment of Inspector General of Intelligence, report that will be tabled, followed by the consideration and recommendation of filling of vacancies of Independent Commission Authority of SA ICASA. Then the other one, then as I indicated, honorable members, yesterday, we are moving the ethics report to be tabled on the 20th of October. Then it will be then followed by the consideration of the report of the approval of Parliament protocols relating to amendments to Articles 50A and 56 of the Convention of International Civil Aviation, as it were. The sixth item then will be the consideration of the report from the oversight of the Transport Portfolio Committee on their oversight in Mpumalanga, Northwest, and KwaZulu-Natal provinces in the week of April, in the month of April. Then followed by the Standing Committee of Committee report on financial management. Two items that will be presented, which is the Parliamentary of the 2021-22 mid-year performance report, followed by 2021-22 third quarter report accordingly. And then the second last will be the motions without notice and notices of motion. On Wednesday, the 14th of September, in the morning is the committee days, and then followed by the Chief Whips Forum, then followed in the afternoon, the hybrid sitting of National Assembly, oral questions on governance cluster. That will be the end of the day. On Wednesday, on Thursday, hybrid sitting that will sit from 14 hours to 16 plus 40 minutes sitting, which is the oral questions for reply by the Honorable Deputy President to the NA. On Friday is the usual one. We'll go to week 25. We'll start on Tuesday, the 20th. As I said earlier on, Honorable Chair, you will see that we have inserted an ethics report, and I've spoken in terms of the approach of that report, then followed by the consideration of the compensation for occupational injuries and diseases amendment bill, followed by the draft notice determining the salaries of allowances of the protector of Chapter 9, if I may use that word, Chapter 9 institutions, followed by the consideration of draft of Critical Infrastructure Protection Act of 2019. And there will be a debate on Heritage Day debate. Let me just see if we've inserted we will, moving forward, Honorable Speaker, insert the theme of the Heritage Month and the theme of the day for that debate, Heritage Debate, that will be followed by motions without notice and notices of motion. We will then move to the 21st of September. The House will be sitting from the 15 hours to 18 hours. Questions for oral reply for Economics Cluster 4. Then we'll move to the 22nd, which will be a virtual mini plenary sittings, which is a full virtual sittings. The first mini plenary sitting will be the subject for discussion by Honorable Powell on solutions to address the crisis of ongoing illegal land invasion in the country, in the Republic. Then the second one on the same mini plenary will be the subject for discussion by the sponsors by the ANC, which then it shall be populated accordingly in terms of the subject for debate. We still have got time. The second mini plenary will be dealing with the subject for discussion sponsored by the ANC, which shall be populated in due course, followed by the subject for discussion sponsored by Honorable Masango, under solutions to address the worsening cost of living crisis in the Republic of South Africa. And the last one, as we indicated earlier on, will be the first reading or debate on maintenance amendment bill, which has been sponsored by the Honorable Al-Jamal. Then that will bring us to the week 25, Honorable Speaker and Honorable members. We will talk to the 27th, which will be same hybrid sitting. May her soul rest in peace. Is condolences of motion of condolences for Honorable A. Motaung for 40 minutes, and we will show Intelligence Act of 38-201. And then the consideration of the Portfolio Committee of Social Development reports, the third quarter, 2020-2021, the fourth quarter, 2020-2021, accordingly, in terms of the various bodies. The first one is department, the other one will be the Social Security Agency report. And the sixth item and on the order paper is still the same, Honorable Speaker. Without wasting time, Honorable Speaker, if you may allow us to say those ones items that we presented last week, there are no changes. I have indicated the changes that have been inserted. Other than that, Chair, we present the draft parliamentary program of the National Assembly. Safe to say, the last point is that you will notice yesterday, Chair, that Honorable Speaker, that we finished slightly late. We will try our best to endeavor to populate items so that we don't overload the last calendar quarter, which is the incoming one, which then will slightly cause the House to finish run about after 16, 18 hours, as it were. Other than that, the program is presented with those amendments that were factored in. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and honorable members.
Thank you very much, Honorable Suma. Honorable members, that was the draft parliamentary program. I don't see any hands here. I think all of us are happy with the program. Mr. Kasu.
Madam Speaker, we would only request that the program committee does confirm the 26th of October as the date for the MTBPS so that the necessary arrangements can be undertaken.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kasu. I'm sure you've taken note of that, Honorable Suma.
Yes, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, are there any announcements, Mr. Kasu?
No, Madam Speaker, not from our side. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. No announcements, honorable members. I thank you very much for attending this meeting and for the constructive debates. And once more, I want to make a plea to all of us that we try as much as possible when we engage to exercise restraint, to be patient with one another, and to exercise mutual respect. And I think that for me is the most important of all. Thank you very much, honorable members.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
Recording stopped.